songs, let me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc, where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
Case of getting people to come out and do it. Tremendous, like anything on your own state and local level. People dedicated to trying to make things better for the area they live in is really what everybody's trying to do. Yeah. And giving the help, in addition to working with NRPA over the years, the thing I kept hearing is, we haven't got enough money to do this, sir. We can't do that. How do we do that?
All right, we are live again. We have a super special guest today, a man that may be responsible, probably won't take any credit for helping to build Parks and Rec in the great state of Illinois. How are you doing today, Mr. Ronald?
Doing really quite well, despite the early morning snow.
I know, this is chill. I tell you what, coming from New Orleans, which is where we drove from to get here, this is quite the stark difference of a cold morning.
If it makes you feel any better, you never get used to it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, how do these people live in this? It's like ice literally flowing down the river right outside the window. It's amazing. All right, so before we get too far, I did want to give a special shout out again to Outdoor Link. They are a great sponsor of ours, one of the earliest that believed in the concept of creating a media company exclusively for Parks and Recreation, which is what DPRS Media Company is, covering all the stories and all the wisdom and bringing on guests like Mr. Ronald to just share everything they've learned about Parks and Recreation with the whole country and share a lot of the wisdom that they've attained over the years and hopefully lift the next generation up. And we really couldn't do that without the help of great companies like Outdoor Link that are serving this community. If you want to turn your city into a smart city, you have all these smart homes that seem to just know when you show up and turn the lights on and stuff and turn them off when you leave. So Outdoor Link helps a park system do the same thing. They can turn baseball fields, entire complexes off and on with the flip of a cell phone so that you're not having to send superintendents in the middle of the night to turn the lights off when a coach left the lights on. Grandma next door is calling because the lights are shining in her bedroom. And so if you would like to be able to make your park system a smart park system, reach out to Outdoor Link. They're actually a booth here at the show. And then also I want to give a big shout out to Amelia, who's sponsoring this event for us. So Joby, why don't you go ahead and play that promo for Outdoor Link, and then we'll come back and start our conversation with Mr. Ronald.
In today's parks and recreation industry, communication, safety, and efficiency go hand in hand. That's where Outdoor Link comes in, delivering smart technology that empowers city departments and community planners to do more, smarter. Outdoor Link's platform connects and automates everything that keeps your parks running smoothly, from lighting and locks to signage, water features, Wi-Fi, and digital advertising. Control and schedule park lights for safety and energy savings. Remotely manage facility access. Update digital displays in real time. Coordinate fountains and splash pads. Provide public connectivity. And even run community or sponsorship campaigns on digital screens. All from one simple, unified platform, giving you real-time control, data, and cost efficiency. For parks and recreation agencies, that means safer spaces, smarter resource use, faster responses, and stronger community engagement. And behind every great park story is great infrastructure. That's why Outdoor Link proudly supports DPRS Media Company, helping the Daily Parks and Rec Show amplify the voices of professionals shaping our communities every day. Outdoor Link, smart, connected solutions for parks, recreation, and beyond.
All right. So first, Mr. Ronald, who put you up to this? Come on, let's blame them a little bit.
Well, actually, in a roundabout way, I think her name is Phyllis.
Yeah.
She come up and grabbed me as I was walking by watching you and said, hey, my sister is working down in your district. We want to talk to you. So out of respect for Jennifer, our gal, that thing, who is a tremendous person and one of our best staff people, how do you say no?
Yeah, that's it. Well, I'm so glad they brought you here. So how long ago did you get involved in Parks and Rec? How many years have you been involved? Or were you, a lot of Parks and Rec people were these park rats that grew up in it, and then some discovered it later in life. So which kind of bucket did you fall into?
Well, not quite any of those.
Oh,
I had just been released out of the Army in order to go back to teaching as a career. And that job was in Channahon, Illinois, that we took advantage of. It was unincorporated at that time, just a bunch of people and a large territory on I-55 next door to the city of Joliet. As I worked with them, there was a group of people, and in my college career, I was to be coach in athletics, and we had to take, 12, 14 hours of park and recreation. So that was kind of there. And as I got my feet on the ground working in the town after getting out of the Army, a group of people came to me and said they were looking at starting a park district, and would I be of any help? Would I be of interest? So I don't know. I was coaching. I wasn't too thrilled. I just said I'd advocate for it. I'd improve, get people to look at it. And the village had put it up to vote. And at that time, I had helped the village become incorporated, and I was on their board with community development as my area. And when the park district concept came up, I was all for it. Did not get on the first board because I had a basketball team that I didn't want to take and waste time with doing other things. They deserved, I thought, my time. We had a great year. The year ended. One of the guys on the park district got transferred, and they said, Ron, why don't you take over and take his spot? And I said, oh, okay. And that was about 53 years ago, and I'm still on the board.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. So 53 years, roughly?
Give or take a month or two, I guess. I really haven't kept track.
I think you might hold the record, or at least up there among the top 10 record holders.
I'm in that area because I think Peter Murphy, our executive director, said there was some lady out by the Iowa line that has been there longer than I have. So more power to her.
So you were the chair of IRPA at some point?
Yes.
Okay, so what's it like kind of steering the ship? Like, let's say, obviously you inherit the ship from someone else's leadership, and then you maybe want to see what their goals were. And then what are some of the goals that you would try to accomplish over your tenure there?
Well, I think when we were within RPA, which was a nationwide program, the overall concept is how do you help professional staff get the background and the training and the assistance from the national level as they grow or as they try to develop or as they meet different challenges, or it's a simple case of what do we do and try to get an answer to them. And maybe the most important thing is like we're doing today, get the word out. If you are stuck back there in Missouri or Illinois or Maine or someplace and don't know what to do with for recreation, we're there to help you. So all in between.
Now, things like director school, I'm not sure when director school started. Is that something that when you started, they didn't have a director school? Is that something that you saw evolve over time, or?
It was there before I got there.
Okay.
Just a case of getting people to come out and do it. Tremendous, like anything on your own state and local level. People dedicated to trying to make things better for the area they live in is really what everybody's trying to do.
Yeah.
And giving the help. For example, in addition to working within RPA over the years, the thing I kept hearing is, we haven't got enough money to do this, sir. We can't do that. How do we do that? We had a project then back in Channahon where we had a huge outdoor area that was really a watershed area, trees, water, a mess, mosquitoes, deer.
Yeah.
On the village board, we had that set aside for recreation, and we turned it into an outdoor wilderness park. And to get the money, we created a foundation as a secondary concept of raising money to produce things besides people giving taxes or paying dues for a program or something like that. And then we have gone national with that. I'm no longer on that board. I was a founding member of that. I think they're in about 24 different states now, helping people plan how to create a foundation which is centered on helping the people in your community know more about your park district, as well as helping raise funds to do some project that they didn't have local tax money for.
I see. Now, is there anything over the years that you've become super passionate about? Because, Parks and Rec is such a broad topic. And as a leader, you can come in with an expertise or a passion about something in particular. Was there anything that kind of piqued your interest over the years that you really kind of learned a lot about?
Well, I think the foundation model probably wasn't the first thing that really got me encountered with more than just the protocol of the park and recreation admin program. I inherited a problem when I was chairman of NRPA, where for a few number of years, the people were saying, why are there doing offshore drilling and no money coming for parks and recreation, when the law said, when it was first passed by Congress, that money would come if Congress approved it. And that letter word "if" suddenly became years of battle, because what we wanted was to change "if" to "will."
Yes.
Well, I think maybe the reason I became the chairman, I was close friends at that time to the Speaker of the House.
Oh.
He had been a fellow coach in Illinois, and he was a tremendous help to me. And we attacked it from a standpoint of, can you help me, Dennis? And he asked me, how big are you? And we'll see what we can do, because he says it just a lot depends on a lot of different things.
Yes.
Bottom line, after a couple of years, we were successful in getting a compromise where offshore drilling money went for park and recreation to the states that bordered where that was happening.
Nice. Nice.
So it wasn't 100%, but we were very happy with it. And I guess to answer your question, that might be one of the things that we found to be the most interesting. It kind of came. We all celebrated when it left. And then you move on to maybe the foundation as number two.
Right, right.
And we did a foundation at NRPA. 7 or 8 of us created the board and worked with it around the country. It's still I think possibly in existence, but really maybe no. I haven't followed it that carefully. To be frank about it, none of us at that time knew really what we were doing. It was fly by the seat of your pants and do what common sense seemed and what people were referring back to you. And now we've got people that are trained and really well known, and we encourage every park district that doesn't have a foundation, there's help out there how to set it. And from my own experience at home with that outdoor wilderness trail, we raised almost $1 million with that.
Wow, fantastic.
And it's probably one of our best facilities.
Now, what have you found as far as shifting topics a little bit here into the young professionals and the next generation of leaders? How can we kind of raise awareness in universities? Because I think a lot of people are graduating with degrees that they're like, well, I really don't know if I want to do this. I don't know, maybe I can't get a job in this. And unfortunately, Parks and Rec seems to be this industry that you discover later versus going into college wanting to pursue a career in Parks and Rec. How do we kind of elevate Parks and Rec? What's your opinion around that as far as elevating Parks and Rec as a career path, even from a high school mindset, that people can pursue this as a career choice?
Well, I think there's 2 answers to that, and maybe they're hopes, not answers.
Yeah.
I think the first thing is that there is available within the whole country park professionals that have gone through these programs. Now, this is not brand new.
Right.
It's there. What's hurting us is you don't use it. It's like being able to have a car parked in a garage and you got it full of gas and then it's a month before you go drive it.
Yeah.
That's problem number 1. Are you dedicated enough to look for help? Because there is some help there. And I think number 2 probably comes from within people within your own community who keep asking you, how about this? How about that? Can we do this? Can we do that? And it reaches to the point that as you're hearing that from your own people, you become more and more asking yourself, well, can I? How do I do it?
Yeah.
Let's look into it. And then from there, it either gets started or it remains kind of something out there hanging in the air that's got to be done sometime, if ever.
Yeah, well, we definitely want to help get the word out among college kids about Parks and Rec as an industry and as a great career path. It's very fulfilling. We actually have 9 shows on the Daily Parks and Rec show, and one of them is our Thursday show, 5 p.m. Eastern, all about young professionals, and it's run by our interns. And that was one of the first shows that we launched out of the gates, knowing that if we don't reach out to these young potential leaders, that, you know, who's going to replace the people like yourself as y'all kind of retire, and who are the next wave of leaders coming out there. So we do have a show specifically dedicated to the young professionals. Now, my next topic is, if you remember during COVID, Parks and Rec, unfortunately, got put in this bucket of non-essential. We look at our police force and our healthcare and our fire departments as essential. And for a short time, we didn't understand how essential Parks and Rec was. And a lot of budgets, unfortunately, got sliced and cut during those times. And so what we did was we created a commercial, a promo. It's on our YouTube channel. Anybody can use it. We would love for this to be played in front of every elected official that has any control over funding for your park system. And so I'd like to go ahead and play that, and then I'd love to get your feedback on it. So Jovi, if you want to go ahead and roll that one, and we'll come back and get Mr. Ronald's take on it.
When we talk about essential services, what comes to mind? Police, firefighters, healthcare. But there's another essential service, often overlooked, yet always present: parks and recreation. Parks and Rec is health. It's the walking trail that lowers blood pressure, the recreation center where seniors fight isolation, the swim lessons that prevent tragedy before it happens. This isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline. Parks and Rec is safety. A playground instead of a street corner, a basketball court instead of trouble, a summer camp where every child belongs. It's not just about activity, it's about protection, prevention, and possibility. Parks and Rec is community, the festival that brings neighbors together, the cultural event that teaches respect and diversity, the open space where a city breathes. It builds bridges where division once stood. It gives people a reason to gather, to connect, to care. And Parks and Rec is economics. It strengthens property values. It drives tourism through events and trails. It saves on healthcare costs. Every dollar invested multiplies, feeding back into schools, into safety, into growth. Essential service is not just about survival, it's about thriving. And Parks and Recreation is where thriving begins. In wellness, in equity, in culture, and in joy. Parks and Rec isn't extra, it's essential. For our health, for our safety, for our communities, for our future. A message from the Parks and Recreation community.
All right, so what's your take on that? Anything to add to it?
Well done. Very well done. Direct, thought-provoking, and makes you want to do it.
Yeah.
I would think right now, getting that out to the people, for any local state director, having that available as a resource if people are inquiring, turning it into like a show here, something that you could add to your program. I think that National Association for Park Foundation should team up with you guys for that, because that is the answer to the question when people are asked for money, why? What better answer than what this is beginning to develop? The problem is getting it to the people who can play it, to the people that will hear it. And that again comes, every state in the country has a state director. like in our case here in Illinois, Peter Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
He has, on that level, the connections to so many districts, almost every district, I think, in their state. They usually have newspapers. They usually send out different information. It would be nice if this could be somehow connected to what they could deliver to their local park district.
Yeah, well, you have to help me get Mr. Peter on the show. We'd love to amplify his message to the Parks and Rec community in any way that we can serve. I mean, we're a media company that just creates content for this industry, but we want to create content that serves this industry. And this was something that came from our audience. It was actually a request from many directors to create something about, to reframe this conversation of Parks and Rec absolutely being essential. So that's kind of what we came up with. And it's been our most played YouTube video that we've ever created. Obviously, we hit a pain point there.
Well, Peter Murphy is one of the easiest people in the world to reach out to and get a response back. Send it to me and I'll make sure he gets it. But I don't think you need to go to me. I think all you really need to do is I'll just tell Peter what you're doing and you give me your card.
Yeah, let's
and
do
I'll
it.
see if he'll follow back up and get to you or you get back to me and we'll make sure.
Absolutely. Okay, so for our final question to you is, if you're standing in front of a group of college kids that are undecided as to what they want to do with their life, where they want to spend their career, the best years of their life, what kind of testimony would you give to them for Parks and Rec, and especially since you've dedicated so many years of your life to it?
Well, I don't know how much time we've got. In many ways, after 30 some years in education with high school age kids, not college kids, I know that so many of them are now going through a growing life experience with an existing park district, which wasn't true many years ago. It's still not 100%. There's probably in every state 40, 50% that little towns that don't have a park and recreation foundation and are still in the playground and swing sets era where they're missing and maybe can't afford, they need the help. But when people begin to see and hear what could be available, I'll use one example. In my district, and we've been there 50 some years now, we just ran a survey of our town, which has about 18,000 people. When I got there, there was about 1,800. Now there's about 18,000. And we were really running a survey among people. What are you looking for in our particular district? 70% of the replies that came back from us were in the age of 70 or higher. You know what they were looking for?
What's that?
They weren't looking for soccer. They were looking for something where they could work out. They wanted more space for fitness. They wanted more space for activity. They weren't so much as if, the trips were fine. Coffee breaks were fine. But the biggest majority of people were looking for things they could still do and be active with. Now, that's not taking it away from the younger moms and dads for the little children and the recreation available for teenagers, because we have that. But we were amazed at looking at the high percentage. And so we're planning in our new, trying to keep up with the planning, and we're in the growth of transforming. We've just redone 3 or 4 major facilities. We now know that we no longer can share space with the school because it's grown so big. The school needs that space. Looking for a new field house, and we're exploring costs, location, looking for and who can we get to help us. I think these are the kinds of things that your message would help sell.
That's it. Well, that's what we're looking to do, is to kind of find those key messages that are the current real-time messages that we need to do to help to get the word out and kind of create content and get it out to the rest of the country. So
it's been my pleasure to be with you, Craig.
Yeah.
This is kind of, in my mind, awesome, because we're here working with so many, just not working. I'm just enjoying being around and meeting all the people that we've known around the state for many, many, many years. And everybody here is pro, recreation. So We know there's a lot of people there that are still looking at taxes, and I don't blame them at all. They're looking for people who can provide it and do it efficiently, do it at a mark that's affordable. You give that to them, you got help. And how do you get that help? By just like this. What do I get for it?
That's it. Love it. Well, Mr. Ronald, thank you so much for your time here, giving it to us today, and thank you for your service over the years, dedicating your life to Parks and Recreation. Really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. All right, Joby, you go ahead and close this out.
It didn't start with a studio, or a big budget, or a perfect plan. It started with belief. Belief that stories matter. Belief that voices deserve to be heard. Belief that community is powerful. What began as a single conversation has grown into something far bigger than us. Today we pause, we reflect, and we say thank you. To our guests, thank you for showing up, for being honest, for trusting us with your stories and letting the world hear them. To our partners and sponsors, thank you for standing with us when the vision was still taking shape. Your belief gave this network its foundation. And to our audience, the ones who listened, who watched, who shared, who believed. You didn't just support DPRS Media Network, you built it. This past year changed everything. We grew our shows, we raised our standards, we reached new communities, and we told stories that needed to be told. From parks and recreation to sports, youth, technology, and culture, we learned something important. Growth isn't about numbers, it's about impact. As we grow, our mission becomes clear. Our mission is to create media that matters, media that educates, media that inspires, media that connects people through honest, human storytelling. To spotlight the people, the programs, and the ideas shaping parks, recreation, sports, and the future of our shared spaces. And our vision is bold. We envision a media network that doesn't just document the world, but helps shape it, where local voices spark global change, where communities see themselves reflected, and where media is a force for good. The future ahead is bigger than any single episode. More voices, more stories, more collaboration. Live events, original films, deeper conversations, and a growing community united by purpose. From episode 1 to episode 400, thank you for believing when it was hard. Thank you for staying when it was uncertain. And thank you for walking this journey with us. This is DPRS Media Network, built by community, driven by purpose, powered by stories. And we're just getting started.